Hello, my name is Bruno and welcome to another episode of Grand Startup Tour TV. This is the grand finale. This is the last stop on my tour before I go back home, and for this episode we are in Vienna, Austria. In the last couple of months I've been hearing a lot about the startup scene here in Vienna, mainly because of the work of an organization called Start Europe. They are the guys behind the Pioneers Festival, one of the largest tech festivals in Europe, and they promote entrepreneurship in Europe. And they are trying to put Vienna on the same level as big startup hubs in Europe like London and Berlin. And I was really curious to know if that was really true or just hype. So that's the reason why I'm here today. But unfortunately, this is not the best time in the year to meet people here. Most of the people I contact are on vacation or traveling. So I didn't manage to get a lot of interviews, but we are going to have a sneak peek about what is going on here in Vienna. So check out these interviews.
Yes, my name is Manuel. I'm living in Vienna and we are building a startup called Prima TV, which is an internet television network that basically tries to curate the most inspiring original web series in the internet, put it on one platform and provide it to as many internet connected devices as possible so that everybody can have his personal TV that really brings stories that inspires them.
Okay.
Basically, the startup scene in Vienna evolved. Like I followed it. Like I was doing video from the beginning, like since 2007 or something, and there was nothing basically. And then the guys from Start Europe, especially, started to do these events, and where the community started growing. And now there's like several initiatives and like Sector 5 here, co-working space for startups, and the whole scene is growing together. And there's more and more startups coming up, and the whole topic is getting bigger and bigger every year. And like this year with the Pioneers Festival, the whole startup community out of Europe is coming together. And I think Vienna is getting like more and more important in the European startup scene at the moment, because it's connecting like the Eastern Europe with the Western Europe part.
Okay.
I'm a co-founder of MySugar and the creative director. I'm responsible for drafting out our product. What does MySugar? We are developing diabetes management software, especially for smartphones. Our iPhone app makes documenting data for people with diabetes really easy, and we make the data useful in your everyday life. The second thing we do is the iPhone app has the diabetes monster, and it behaves like a little Tamagotchi, or I would say like a gremlin. If you treat it really well, it's like a cute mogwai. If you treat it really bad, it becomes an evil gremlin. So it reflects how you're doing in your diabetes therapy. The main reason why we started MySugar in Vienna was because we have a really strong network here. We know many people who can design, we know many people who can develop, and we also had access to the funding we needed. So to us it was obvious to do it in Vienna. And Vienna has the big advantage that it's like really central hub all over Austria, and also to the Bavarian area and the South Tyrolean area. So most people who do an IT startup in Austria do it in Vienna, and that made it an obvious choice for us. But we could have also done it in Berlin, because one of our founders is from Berlin, and Berlin is also a great place to start an IT startup. But to us, Vienna felt more natural. It's smaller, and everything you need is in a small area, and we can start in a smaller market. We can start in Austria and prove what we do in Austria, and when we prove it here, we can go to the bigger markets, Germany and to other countries. So to us, it was pretty obvious that we want to do it in Vienna for that reason.
Okay.
And Vienna is really getting traction, and I think a lot of the credit goes to Sector 5, Sector 5 and the Pioneers Festival and all those kind of organizations, because they become a local hub where just many people all over Europe come, and there's just so many interesting people here. Even in Sector 5, it's I don't know, there are 10 companies where I think they make really interesting stuff. So it's getting really strong at the moment. It might not be as strong as in Berlin. It is not as strong as in Berlin, but on the other hand, it's more. It can be helpful if it is not as hyped as Berlin, for example.
I would say the advantages are that there's very good people here, very high educational level, that the city has one of the highest living qualities in the world. Like you can get cheap flats, not like as in London, and still it's very beautiful. The disadvantages, of course, are that the ecosystem is just growing, and the whole thing with investors and stuff is just growing now, but it's coming. And I think like in 2 or 3 years, this place will like be the place to be for many Eastern European startups, but also for startups who try to get in the Eastern European market.
Most people who were interested to invest in us were German or UK companies.
Okay.
So the capital we were looking for was not Austrian capital.
Okay.
Just our pre-seed funding was Austrian, and pre-seed money through state grants. From my point of view, is pretty accessible. So it's a really good chance for people who don't have their own capital to get started here. I think it's way easier than in other countries. But our reinvestment, for a long time it looked like that we would get it either from Germany or the UK. But at the very end, our actual investor was Austrian. I mean, he is Austrian, and he used to live in Spain for a long time. Went back to Austria and invested in many companies here, and we are one of them. So there is no clear answer for that. Our investor is Austrian, but I think that might be more a coincidence. He just loves Vienna. He just thinks it's a great place to invest. We like to think it might be, after Berlin, the best startup spot in Europe at the moment.
From Start Europe, based in Vienna.
And my name is Kim. I'm responsible for PR and communications. Been working for Start Europe over 1.5 years now. And
My name is Philip. I'm responsible for Pioneers, for our big project at Start Europe. So what's Start Europe all about, Kim?
Okay, we have 3 events with Start Europe. First of all, what Philip already mentioned, the big Pioneers Festival, which we host once a year in Vienna, this time at the Imperial Hofburg. We will probably have a look there later. And you want to describe what it's all about? 2005?
No, let's start first of all with our mission at Start Europe. What we actually want to do is Europe is so big, and we have so many different hubs and so many different startups, local startup scene. And Start Europe is trying now, since 2009, we're trying to connect these hubs, to connect Europe, to make one European startup scene and one community. And we want to connect Western Europe with Eastern Europe. And how we're gonna do that is first of all, we're doing Startup Lives. That's small weekend events, and in different countries, in different cities all around Europe. For example, in Athens, or in Budapest, or in Berlin. I think the next one is in Berlin, right?
Istanbul first.
Istanbul is the next one. And there, the local people come and work on their product over the weekend, have pictures, and also have the judges. And at the end, we hope that these teams, what we form there, are working after this weekend again on the product and form a company. So what we're trying to do is to foster entrepreneurship and to support all these startups with any kind of help, with mentors, with judges, with
Teaching, but it's for startup life is pretty much for really early stage startups.
Exactly, yeah.
And you know, to give an entrepreneurial thinking all across Europe, so that's pretty much the goal.
And then we decided last year we have to do one big event in Vienna to connect these startup lives, to bring all the best teams there, the best startups, to one hotspot. And to connect the European startups together and teach them again. We also have like the academy and bring really insights about different topics, how to do PR, how to go with what else do we PR, marketing, business model. We also have Alexander Osterwalder as a speaker, like really teaching them how to push their product, to push their startup forward. And this is pretty much the idea behind Start Europe, yeah, to connect all these people and to make one European one startup community actually.
You can feel there's a difference, yeah? And people come up to you, and for example, all the media people come up and be like, yeah, we're interested about the whole startup scene. So it's growing a bit. We have quite good startups in Vienna, but sure, yeah, some of them had to leave because there's not enough venture capital here.
There was not enough money as well, and actually the infrastructure is a little bit missing here, yeah. Okay. So to support, we also we can see that the old economy, the companies who are doing now products for the last 50 years, they also know now
it's time to change.
Time to change. We also have to get these startups together, that we're working with these startups together to build a better future for all the people.
Okay.
So it's also like the old economy, like the companies, the mindsets of them change, the politician mindset change, and at the moment everything changes. Also in the press, right? Press and media also. They are more interested to write about startups, about the scene.
I didn't have the chance to meet everybody that I wanted to, but for what I've seen, these guys are doing a great job over here. I wouldn't say they are up to the level of cities like London or Berlin, but they're definitely doing a great job here in Vienna, and they have wonderful startups coming out of here. And finally, since this is my grand finale, I want to take the chance to thank everybody that supported the Grand Startup Tour, everybody that I met throughout the journey, and especially to the sponsors that made this possible: 23 Video, Bundler, and Earbox. And to you, the guys who are at home supporting all the tour and watching these videos, a big thank you. And hopefully there will be a chance to have a second season of Grand Startup Tour in the near future. So I will keep you posted, and thank you very much for everything. See you soon.
Okay. You'll do the whole thing or just the run? Yeah.